Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. There are two things. One is science and second is application of science called as technology. Unless the foundation of science is firm, the development of technology is not possible. Second thing, when we develop the technology, the next step comes. Where do we apply the technology? With wisdom or without wisdom? So, the discovery in the basic sciences give us the facts of nature. Then those facts are brought together and applied, it becomes technology. Now that technology we use for peaceful purpose or for the purpose of creating pieces. This is where all the difference comes. So therefore, what we are studying, what we are trying to understand is these two aspects. In the next chapter, the teacher will tell us exhaustively the science and technology. Jnana Vijnana Yoga is nothing but science and technology. So, we have heard so far that all our problems are only because our mind is not listening to us. And when somebody doesn't listen to us, we become most miserable, isn't it? If you take your own houses, what is the reason or the cause of the misery of all the husbands? See, all you have already answered, isn't it? In your mind. The wives don't listen to us. And the causes of all the miseries of all the children, the parents don't listen to us. I was in, I think, Bangkok. And we are having a Satsang, a small group. And there was one very cute boy. He said, Swamiji, I got a question. I said, yes. He said, Swamiji, has Kali Yuga come? Can you imagine? I said, yes, Kali Yuga is now more than 5,000 years old. He said, I thought as well. He said, why did you think like that? He said, because our parents don't listen to us. I was so shocked. I said, what do you want to say? He said, Swamiji, you may not be knowing, but in the Dwapar Yuga, the parents were listening to the children. This is how Duryodhana could do anything. But now Kali Yuga has come, parents don't listen to us. And therefore the children are miserable. Now bring the whole thing together. We are all miserable only because our mind does not listen to us. And therefore, if we really want to discover the bliss of being, the most important thing is the instrument through which we function. That instrument must be perfect as well as under our control. And when such a perfected, controlled instrument called the mind is at our disposal, then we decide where we apply that mind. Whether we apply that mind for the material prosperity alone, or we apply that mind in addition to the material prosperity for the spiritual growth. Choice is ours. See? And therefore, the teacher is telling us, first and the most important practice that all of us have to practice. One, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan Asheshataha. Let us stop daydreaming. We go on imagining and projecting. And that imagination and projections, when they are done again and again, that imagination which is only virtual gets the status of real after some time. The virtual reality is converted into actual reality. Isn't it? This is how people fall in love. They don't rise in love. One useless boy looks at another equally useless girl and starts projecting, imagining that if I get married to her, what a lovely life it will be. Thought number one. Then again, if I cannot get married to her, what is life without her? Thought number two. If any Gabbar Singh comes in between, I will see that I will settle that fellow. And slowly, every additional thought starts creating an illusion that I really love her and I take for granted that she loves me. Once this happened recently, I get all this info through the emails. That girl wrote me, Swamiji, I have decided to commit suicide. I said, are you seeking my permission or what? Please grant me permission to commit suicide. I said, you do suicide, but don't refer anywhere that you wrote me email. And then she started writing further. That, we were going together for last 5 years. We are neighbors. And when after 5 years I proposed, I told him, he said, hey, are you mad or what? I have never looked at you from that angle. It's okay, we are only friends, nothing more than that. Now this girl was constantly doing sankalpa, projecting, imagining. And when those imaginations are shattered, we are gone. Therefore, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan Asheshataha. This is one of the most advanced spiritual practice. How do we do this? First of all, don't take anything seriously in this world. Like what? Like you are listening to me. I have no illusion that you are taking me seriously. So what we do, we come listen and nothing can touch us because that is our essential nature. Asangoham, asangoham, asangoham punah punaha. Now apply the same technique when you are dealing with the world. Don't become serious anywhere. Then what will happen? Your mind will stop projecting about anything. Take for example, you must be seeing a lot of serials, isn't it? On the TV. 2 days before, one person phoned me, Swamiji, I want you to come and at least give one lecture in our society because I am very keen that our children are seeing too much of TV and they are not having proper cultural value, so I want you to come and talk to them. I said, when I come, I will decide what I have to talk. I am not going to talk what you are going to tell me. And then I told him, I said, my observation is, because of the TV, the elders are spoiled more than the children. See, any house, as much TV hours are utilized by the elders of the family, that much are not utilized by the children. And then, when you are watching those TV serials, do you go on thinking, now what will happen in the next episode? No. You have wasted your half an hour. Enough. Now let us waste another half an hour with another episode. In the same manner, take every interaction, every experience of your life as an episode and conclude it, switch off. That's it. Don't take any load with you wherever you go. The result will be, you will remain all the time alert, relaxed, and extremely spontaneous. Spontaneity is the insignia of living in the present. Those who are carrying the load of the past, they cannot be spontaneous. Those who are projecting about the future, they cannot be spontaneous because their mind is already preoccupied. Such a preoccupied mind is not an instrument for investigation about the reality. So, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshataha, underline asheshataha, exhaustively, completely, without any clause of if and but. Then, manasa eva indriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Then the next step is indriya gramam, all the senses. Manasa eva viniyamya, control them with proper education to the mind. Now here, please understand, this is very important. See, control over senses means what? Control over senses does not mean switch off all the senses. That is not the meaning. Like control over car does not mean keep the car in the garage. The car must run on the road and should not waste the insurance policy. That is important. In the same manner, let all our senses be dynamically alive. And yet, we do not become slaves to those senses. This can happen only by educating our senses and our mind. So what is the education that we have to give? Very few things if you practice, life will become most wonderful. If we learn from our every interaction with the world, with every interaction we will grow wise. Because we are learning. So when we learn from any experience, we will not have the impression of that experience as a load on our mind in the form of achievement or failure. Because wisdom is light and impressions are heavy. And when you thus start learning from every experience of your life, slowly, slowly, you will start growing wise. Growing in age and growing in wisdom has nothing to do with each other. We grow in age for none of our fault. But we can grow wise only if we are alert. This is what the teacher says. Manasa eva indriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. So every time you are interacting with the world, learn from your own experiences. Then shanaihi uparame. This is all happening here on the seat of meditation. Don't forget that. So when you are sitting on the seat of meditation, suddenly you remember. See, that day when I went to their house, how they treated me. And then you start meditation. You will be carrying nothing but the frustration. So take a resolution. I am not going to think, talk, inquire, discuss about anything right from this moment backward. A very simple technique. Refuse to think about the past and refuse to talk about the past and don't ask anybody about their past. These three things you practice. You will start living in the present. And when you start living in the present, you will never be interested in your past or somebody else's past. This is the sign of a wise man. He who does not talk about his past, or he who does not ask anybody their past, is a wise man. Others are otherwise. So, this is one. Now, such a person have come and sat on the seat of meditation. Then, shanaihi uparamet buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Don't be in a hurry. Shanaihi, slowly and steadily. Slowly and steadily. From this shanaihi, I always remember. I remember all the funs of life. There used to be one teacher who used to teach us chemistry. And he was a special category teacher, appointed through the back door. And he used to teach us. Take the metal, let us say zinc, or you want to dilute the acid. So first of all, you should take the water and then add the acid. It should not be other way around, because acid is heavier, water is light. If you put that, the ring will be very hot, it will break. So this is the principle he has to teach. So he will tell us, take water and then don't add. Add. Because he didn't know the word slowly. Don't add. So here Bhagavan says, shanaihi, slowly and steadily. There is no hurry. Many times what happens, when we jump on the spiritual path, we want the results overnight. Swamiji, I have started doing japa, but nothing happens. To whom? To God? Or to the mala? Or to the mind? Or to the people at home? To whom what has to happen? No, I thought, they said that Ajamil said only once Narayan. And everything happened. Then I told, if you want that way, you should be ready to die. Ajamil said Narayan, he died. That was the last thought. Oh, it was like that, yes. So you have to go on saying Narayan till you die. Acha, I never knew that. I thought it is only once you say Narayan and Narayan will come. Kya chahiye? Nothing will happen. Therefore, shanaihi, go steady, have patience. Don't imagine the mind can be just controlled like that. Then what is the technique? Buddhya dhriti grihitaya. Two things. Control your mind intelligently. Now, how to control the mind intelligently? There are many techniques. One or two I will tell you. This morning we learned from Bhagavad in the morning class. It was something very wonderful today. Bhagavan Sri Krishna told. See, the problems of our mind can be summarized in one word. And that is carrying the load of a sense of sin on our mind. Arrogance of success and the guilt of failure together constitute sin. Now, if this is the problem, now how to get rid of that? Once that is over, you are absolutely happy. So, it depends on what type of person you are. If you are having that kind of imagination that, everything can be bought by money, there are people. So, for them, the Shastras tell, you have killed a cat? Yes. Mahapap. The other day, I was going at night somewhere and one rat crossed, not the cat. So I asked my friend, I said, hey, now what we should do? When the cat crosses in front of your car, there is something to say. Now rat is crossing, what we should do? He said, Swamiji, these questions comes in my mind always. You please tell what I should do. I said, this is the most auspicious because rat carries invisible Ganeshji. So Vigna Harta has given you green signal. Go ahead. So if I have that kind of mind, which imagines everything can be purchased through money, Then for such a person, if you want to get rid of your sins, do charity. And I am available for charity. Therefore, whatever property you have, you don't worry. You die and hand it over to me. See, this is how the charity has become a substitute for religion. It is not true. But what the scriptures can do, because the person is so much buried under the load of money, he can only think only in these terms. He cannot think anything else. If I can give good food to somebody, I will get punya. It is investment, nothing else. If I build houses and make the people live there, they will not disturb me. Therefore, friends, this is one way of removing the load of sin from the mind. The second type of people, they are extremely agile and very virulent. They just can't keep quiet. Now for them, the scriptures tell, you should do karma yoga. And what is the karma yoga? You are unwanted in the home, therefore go in the organizations and create problems there. That is the karma yoga. We get lost into so many activities outside the house because inside the house we are not required. Look here. Then what is to be done? Then do this, do that, keep yourself busy, and this will clean your sins. Now the third type of person, who is constantly crying and blaming the Lord. God, what I have done that I had to get married to that lady? Now the scriptures tell, if you want to get rid of that kind of problem, start chanting Lord's name. What will happen? Next life you will not get married to her. Oh, very good. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Now the fourth type of person, the one who is all the time busy in doing one or the other yoga abhyas. Very busy in doing all kinds of postures except Manushyasan. See, different kinds of postures, those who are following this yoga abhyas, they know. There is no Manushyasan. All the animal asanas are there. Reptile asana is there. No, Bhujangasana is nothing but reptile asana. And then Ushtrasana, Mammalasana. Isn't it? Tadasana. So, such kind of people, to them, the yoga abhyasi is, the scriptures tell. If you want to remove the sin from your mind, do pranayam. Pranayamatna parantapaha. Now what this person is doing? Constantly busy. Counting. Kitne gaye, kitne aaye. How many gone, how many come. Naturally, when you are busy all the time counting your own breathing, you have no time to think. See? The moment your mind is busy, you are happy. So all these techniques which I told you so far, these are the techniques only to keep the mind occupied in such a manner that it doesn't have time to think about anything else. This is how the mind is disciplined. Why there is a discipline in the military and not in the civil? This is the reason. In military, right from morning onward, they are kept so busy. Early morning, lift the whole haversack, keep the, rifle, and take 10 rounds. Poor fellows, running. After that, very good breakfast. Then go for PT, and then this thing, that thing. And whole day you are made miserable. And at night, as if it was not enough, give, instead of Rama, they give Ram. The whole day you are so tired, not wanting to think. If there is some trace of intellect which may start thinking, so that is put to rest by these drinks. And therefore, there is discipline in the military. Means what? If you want to bring discipline in the civilians, see, Now the fifth type of person's solution. What is the solution? All the problems are only because of the wrong identity. All problems of our life. Take Bhagavad Gita that we are studying. Arjuna had a wrong identity on the battlefield. He took himself to be somebody's grandson and somebody's disciple. On the battlefield, you are only a soldier to the enemy. There is no second relationship. But because of this wrong identity, all the problems started cropping up. Our identity is the same problem. Whether I am a husband or a father-in-law or a son-in-law or an officer or a subordinate or an engineer or a doctor or a patient or a Maharashtrian or a Gujarati, see how many problems. We have every kind of identity except what is our real identity. The moment we discover our real identity, all thoughts are supported by me. Therefore, none of them have any influence on me. The moment you discover your correct identity, all sins are washed away. See how simple it is. This is what Bhagavad Sri Krishna is telling here. Manasa eva indriya grama viniyama samantataha shanai shanai uparamen buddhya dhruti gruhitaya. So this kind of understanding must come in our mind. And whenever we are practicing anything with understanding, the results are enduring, lasting. When we practice something without understanding, results will be there, but temporary. They cannot be repeated again. Because by mistake it has happened. Like, sometimes we go to somebody's house for food. And I say, hey, this sabji, you cook? What do you mean? I said, no, it is very tasty, therefore I am asking. No, sometimes it comes out all right. So that is an accident. In the same manner, sometimes our mind is very much under control, sometimes not. Why? Because we have not learned the technical art of putting the mind under control. So, buddhya dhruti gruhitaya, in such a controlled mind, disciplined mind, the mind which is listening, atma samstam manakrutva. Now focus the attention of the mind on yourself. Now see, this is experiment we did earlier. Again I do this experiment and right now here you will get the result. If you don't get right now, you will never get. Be very extremely attentive and involved in this experiment that we are going to conduct. 100%. Don't do anything half-heartedly. ऐसे कई महात्मा आके चले गए, सानू कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Then you will not get a benefit. Just be sincere. As sincerely we are leading our useless life. With the same sincerity, we should jump in this experiment. Now look at the backdrop, whatever it is. Now from there, bring your eyes on my beautiful face. Don't worry about it. Now from my face, bring your eyes on your glasses if you have. Or look at your own eyes. See? You cannot. The moment eyes are trying to see the eyes disappear. In the same manner, mind can think about everything except the mind. And the moment you start focusing on what the mind is, Bhagavad Ramana says, Manasam tu kim margane krute naiva manasam marge arjavar. The moment you inquire about what this devil mind is, the marga, the path is so straight, the mind disappears. And when the mind disappears, the thoughtless knowledge is consciousness. When I know I am, like I know this is a book. Now what is the difference between these two knowledges? In this book, I have 5 attributes. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. it makes some sound. Shabda sparsha, it is soft for touch. Rupa, it has got a particular form, a color. Rasa, if I eat that paper, I will like it because I'm Indian donkey. You know, Indian donkeys, they eat the papers. And then the fifth thing, gandha, when you smell, there is some smell to that. Now when I say, I know I am, how do I know? What is my color? What is my smell? What is my taste? Nothing. So the knowledge about our being is not gained through the process of thoughts. And this thought-free recognition of our own being is the ultimate in knowledge. And see, we have not done anything. Only Atma Samstam Mana Kritva Na Kinchidapi Chintaye. But many times when the seeker sits for meditation, suddenly a thought comes. Because mind is getting annihilated. Mind will not like it. Who wants one's own death? So you sit quiet. By God's grace and blessings of the teacher, you are slowly quietening the mind, and the mind is on the verge of annihilation. Then suddenly a thought comes. Suppose I get lost in meditation, and if I am not able to come out like Ekalavya or that Abhimanyu, what will happen to me? And suddenly the fear creeps in. And that fear is sent by the mind. Therefore, the more you are aware about this fact, that never there was a time when I was not there. Never there is an experience that I am not there. Never there will be a time when my absence can be justified. This eternal presence is recognized only when you are in the present. The moment you understand this principle, going in the past and going in the future is divorcing from the presence. Now at this moment, all of you are in absolute presence. This time you are neither a man nor a woman, neither rich nor poor, neither husband nor wife. None of these things. When all these conditionings are dropped, that unconditioned, causeless, divine, conscious existence is the reality. In that, I is not born. Please be very attentive. Bhagavad Gita does not talk about liberation of the I. Bhagavad Gita talks about liberation from the I. The moment this I disappears in your inquiry, there is nobody who is liberated, because there was nobody who was bound. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintaye. Now suspend all the mentations, suspend all thought formations. And when all thought formations are totally suspended, that thought-free, conscious existence is the reality. In that there cannot be any question. If there is a question, mind is born. If there is no question, you are that. Kathopanishad says, etad vaitat, etad vaitat. It is this, it is this. Kenopanishad says, anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat kruta krutat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha yattat pashasi tadvada. When in Kathopanishad, Nachiketa this question, in reply to that, Bhagwan, Yamaraj goes on telling, etad vaitat, etad vaitat. In Kenopanishad, another way the teacher tells, that which is other than the known and the unknown is the reality. Now find out. What is known? The total world of the waking and the dream is known. The experience of the deep sleep is that of unknown. Anyat is other than. So the waking dream, deep sleep, they come and go like the waves on the ocean, but I continue to be the same ocean of consciousness. Atma saustam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. But Swamiji, our mind goes here and there. What we should do? Bring it back. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamasthiram tatastato niyamyaitat atmanneva vasham nayet. As and when your mind is going here and there, the moment you catch, bring it back. And tata tata niyamyaitat atmani eva vasham nayet. And when you practice it for a long period of time, then what will happen? Prashanta manasam henam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti. Such a person who is now prashanta manasam yoginam. Yesterday I told you, Ashanti we all know. Absence of Ashanti is Shanti that we know. For example, now we are all under a particular level of noise pollution. We all are under that pressure. We do not know. We are functioning at a particular tension. For example, if all the fans, all the ACs, everything is suddenly switch off. Suddenly, because immediately the silence prevails. So we know the Ashanti, all the disturbances. We know the Shanti, absence of the disturbances. But there is something called Prashanti, which is not added by the Shanti and not disturbed by the Ashanti. That is what the teacher, Prashanta Manasam Yoginam. See how important it is. And this is what all we have to do in our life. For doing tapasya, don't go to ashrams or any Himalayas. Because what will you do there? Do tapasya. Here you get all tapasya at home. Ask for food, you don't get. Wait for 1 hour. Tapasya ho rahi. You don't like particular thing, that will come and land in your plate with all joy. Don't suffer, enjoy suffering. The more we become aware of this spiritual practice, be very attentive. If you are really spiritual seeker, you will never think of changing the place, changing the occupation, waiting for the time to change. If this is your approach, you are not a spiritual seeker. Spirituality begins right now over here at this very moment. See? Prashanta Manasam Yoginam. Now such a seeker who has thus come to the seat of meditation, controlled totally, thereafter his mind is functional, his ears are able to hear the sounds, and yet neither the sounds disturb him, nor the disturbances of the mind trouble him. Now such a person, and Shanta Rajasam, now there is no Rajas, there is no disturbance of any kind. Then Sukham Uttamam Upaiti, he attains that peace which passes beyond all understanding. Uttamam is a superlative degree. Like we call good, better, best. So Uttara and Uttama. Ut means superior. Like I am sitting above that level where you are sitting. So my position will be called as Ut. Now above me there is a fan. So the fan will be called as Uttara. It's still above me. And the next floor, if there is, that will be called as Uttama. There is nothing beyond that. In the same manner, there are 3 kinds of happinesses. One kind of happiness is the base, useless happiness. What is that? All the time, eat, oh eat, sleep, oh sleep, like a pig. There is happiness in sleeping, no doubt about it. For both those who sleep and those who are awake. Isn't it? So that is the lowest kind of happiness. The second kind of happiness is when we indulge in this world and enjoy, yaar, maja aa gaya pizza khane mein. So that is also happiness, that is little higher. Because something is done. Not only lying down like a buffalo. No. Now the third thing is what the teacher says. This third happiness is not dependent on the outer world. Be very attentive. But it is the quality of your mind which is totally undisturbed. And that is where we have come to the gateway wherefrom we can jump beyond the mind. See, you must have seen those people who jump with a pole in the hand, pole-ward jump. They cannot go to that height. So what they do? They run with the pole. Run and fix it somewhere in the soil. And with the help of that pole, they go up there. After having gone there, they leave that pole, they don't hold on to that. Now how can you leave? You brought me over here. Bhagavad tumhara bhala kare beta. No! Give it up. And then you can cross in the same manner. Be very attentive. Don't be happy only with a peaceful mind. I could sit for half an hour so quiet that I did not know that I was sleeping. That is not meditation, it's a cartoon. Therefore, upaiti shantarajasam sukham uttamam. Now, when such a seeker has thus crossed the impact of tamoguna, sleep and sleep or eating, the impact of rajoguna, the indulgence in this world, and totally withdrawn from the whole world and quietened the mind, he has come to this divine happiness which is the nature of the mind. Now such a mind is capable of recognizing the Brahmananda. See, suppose I tell one of you, kindly go and call Mr. Shukla. And you go there and Swamiji, I didn't find Mr. Shukla. Why did not find? He is very much sitting there. Because you did not recognize him, although he was present, you could not call him. In the same manner, that Brahmananda, every one of us is experiencing every moment in our life. Alas, we do not recognize which is the Brahmananda and which is the Bhogananda and which is the Sleepananda. See, the moment we are able to discriminate, and that is what is the purpose of this yoga abhyasa. Therefore, upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Akalmasham, totally free from the impact of the tamoguna. There are no guilts, there is no arrogance, there is nothing that can disturb the inner poise of such a great seeker. Then he becomes qualified for recognizing the reality because Brahma Bhutam. It is something like, when the students get admission in the medical college. First year, they start putting on the apron and like a Mangal Sutra, they go on putting the stethoscope. And then from that day one, everybody in the village, in the house, nearby, they start telling him, hey, don't disturb, Doctor Sahab aa rahe. DOG, SAB. So that fellow has just got admission with great difficulty. He has not passed even one examination. And yet in anticipation of the future Yamaraj, we start calling him as Dr. Saab. In the same manner, this seeker has now come to that point. He has not yet merged in the reality, but he is just ready to get into. Upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. Now the teacher says, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha. Vigata kalmashaha, that seeker, that yogi, now he is no more carrying the load of achievements or the failures. See, the load of achievement and failure, how we don't understand. There were two computers to be shifted from one room to another room. One was there for quite some time and other was newly purchased. So two persons were given, hey, come on, shift it there. So the newly purchased computer fellow, he did his job and started Tamaku. Now the second person who was supposed to shift the old computer with all the data, he was not doing. Why not doing? Why not doing? This is the old computer, all the data of the office is inside. How can I lift alone? Now tell me, will the data on your hard disk or the floppy carry weight? No. In the same manner, the weight of our achievement and failure will not be reflected on the scale if you stand, but it is reflected in the performance of your mind. You feed the data and say error. In the same manner, anything comes to us, error. What frustration? What happened? Error. Too much of pressure. And therefore, once we recognize the importance of this quality of mind, we have really understood what is the meaning of spiritual life. Therefore, three things be very clear. One is religion, second is philosophy, and third is spirituality. Religion has nothing to do with the philosophy or God. Philosophy has nothing to do with spirituality or the religion. And spirituality has nothing to do except with the God, with anything else. Here Bhagwan is talking about the spiritual unfoldment. And that spiritual unfoldment is possible if we go scientifically and technically sound steps that are indicated. Therefore, Upaiti Shantarajasam Brahmabhutama Kalmasham Yunjanevam Sadatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha. Vigata Kalmashaha, now his mind is totally light. Now, such a light-hearted person is available for the light of wisdom. Just imagine a person is having a backache. He sits for meditation, or he goes to the temple, or he has to do some karma yoga. What will be the type of expression if he goes to the temple, to the God? God, jara peeth theek kar de raha, baba, bada pareshan hai. So his devotion will be the painful devotion. It will not be joyful because pain is inside. If he is wanting to do karma yoga with the backache, he will say, see, I have come here for seva, but you know what happened? I got terrible pull in the back. Anyway, you also have come for karma yoga? Yes. Get me a glass of water. See? Therefore, unless we come out of this load of both the things, achievement and the failures, both are equally terrible loads on the mind. Vigata kalmashaha. And when it will happen, yunjan evam sada atmanam. This has to be practiced continuously, regularly, long hours, daily, for years together. As we cannot see the TV advertisement and practice according to that. TV advertisement shows. Take Chavanprash. First picture. Second picture. Sri Ram Lagu. Oh, it is so simple. Very good. I go to the market and I take 1 kilogram of Chavanprash in one go. Who will take it every day? One spoon. In the same manner, we also have spiritual influenza. We go to some satsang, we listen to some Babaji, suddenly, I think, now I am becoming spiritual. Everywhere declarations are made, newspaper is flooded. And my spirituality continues continuously for mushkil say 3 days. And after 3 days, I think I was sitting too much, I think. I have started getting pain here, pain there, pain everywhere. And then our mind starts suggesting, what is your age now? I am 65 not out. Till this moment, did you do meditation? No. Did it anyway disturb you? No. Why you started? Are yaar, theek hai. See? And this is how our spirituality is only attacks of spirituality. Therefore the teacher says, Yunjan evam sada atmanam yogi vigata kalpacha. It has to be a regular, daily, small doses you take. Don't take suddenly, I want to sit for meditation 6 hours. And don't compare and compete with anybody. Like one truck was carrying a very beautiful message. Apni awqat pehchano. Recognize your own potentiality. Don't go beyond it. So, then, sukhena brahma sansparshan. Be very, very attentive. Spiritual attainment is not painful. Sukhena brahma sansparshan. See? It is not what to do, yaar, I got realized and I am so tired thereafter. Why? Everywhere Brahman. I don't know where wife has disappeared. Anybody I see Brahman. And when I call everybody Brahman, they started calling me Brahma ho gaya, not Brahman. Therefore, please understand, Bhagwan Sri Krishna's spirituality, he is not creating caricatures of abnormality out of us. We have to live very much in this world. We have to live the normal life of competition. We have to struggle, and yet we have to continue to be spiritual where we are. See? This Upadesh, this instruction was given by Bhagwan Sri Krishna to Arjun. Therefore, he was keeping this in mind. Suppose I tell him, now for that, you should go to Himalaya. See, I was telling you, let's go run away, right away. No. Be where you are. And in this manner, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. So, 2-3 words. Brahma sansparsha. Brahma sansparsha means what is the meaning? The touch of divinity. What is the touch of divinity? 3 aspects. First, fear will disappear. Second aspect, neither anybody can deceive you, nor you will deceive anybody. Third aspect, you will never be miserable, nor make anybody miserable. This is the touch of Brahman. Sukhena Brahma sansparshan. And more than that, what we want. See, I tell you, it happened many years before. In Delhi, there is one great Mahatma. You must have heard his name, Kishorji Vyas. He is very much, talking on Bhagavad, etc. A great devotee and very close friend of mine. It so happened, when he was conducting his Bhagavad Katha, so he said, you come and be the Yajaman. So I was sitting in the first one seat. Huge affair, opposite Lal Killa in Delhi. A very big stage was constructed. Above that, he was sitting. And then a small, wider stage, little lower. And then one more. And they'll do the pradakshina and carrying Bhagavad on the head. In that utsav, what they are doing. They have to do the pradakshina of that Vyasapith. And we are all walking. And suddenly, when a particular spot came, so somebody was telling me and him, why don't you go little ahead? I said, no, you go ahead. I will not go. He said, why? I said, marji hamari. Don't know what happened to you, Swamiji. I said, I am abnormal. I didn't go ahead. That person who went next step, that particular plank broke and he went directly to Patal. Swamiji, it's good you are not gone. I said, I knew. Nobody can deceive you in this world because you have not deceived anybody. See, nahi kalyana krutkashchit durgatim tada gacchati. If you are good to the world will never deceive you. And if somebody tries to do that, he will be taken care of by the Murali of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Don't worry about it. That is what is called as Sukhena Brahma Samsparshan and Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. Atyantam Sukham means what? That Sukham which is beyond the concept of destruction. Anta means end. Atyanta means beyond destruction. So it is that happiness, that bliss, which is neither created nor it is destroyed. So it is the absolute bliss of being is discovered. Now, the story is not yet over. Meditation is not over. Still something more to come. I think next time. Enough for today. This is how it happens, when we are not qualified, when we are not able to focus our mind for a long period of time. After first 10-15 minutes, we are straight away attentive, exclamation. After some time, slowly, the question mark is born out of us. And when we are still not qualified, continue, underline. Isn't it? And it is not only at the physical level, it is also at the mental level. As much we are able to be receptive in the beginning of the talk, as the time passes, our mind says, what is the time? Oh, today I didn't bring the watch. Now the mind is not able to catch because it is tired. Why it is tired? Because it is occupied somewhere else. See, that is why when our search, our investigation, our inquiry about the truth is born out of intense longing, you will never get tired. You will never get bored. You will never lose interest. You will never feel, now let us have some change. It will never happen. If this happens, that means there is lack of interest. So, Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. Now this is one step. After having recognized yourself to be that supreme reality, thereafter, you don't keep on sitting like this. What to do, yaar? Realize ho gaya. No. You continue to function in this world. But now, the vision has changed. It is something like this. When a student goes to the medical college, for example, he goes there as an ignorant person. And then he goes through the discipline and slowly he is developing a vision. And after he develops his vision in the final year and goes for practice somewhere, and slowly when the vision is perfected, thereafter he stops looking at the people as human beings. He looks upon everybody as a patient. Isn't it? Now what happened suddenly? Last time we met, you were so cheerful and happy. Why are you looking like this to me? No, I am watching you when you are talking. There is some kind of pain in your back or what? Hare yaar, how do you know? Because I have trained myself. I cannot see anything except pain and miseries. There is a training. In the same manner, the moment I have discovered my correct identity, now from that platform, from that height, my perception of the world will be totally different. See? The other day I gave you an example, again I'll repeat it. When I am at the bottom of the tree, my area of observation is limited. When I am on the top of the tree, my area of observation has widened. Now, what is future for the man below the tree is the present for the man who is above the tree, is it not? In the same manner, when I am living at the body level, my vision and perception is different. When I am living at the mind's level, my vision and perception is different. When I am living as consciousness, my vision and perception of this world is different. And the moment the vision has changed, the perception has changed, the interactions will change. And when the interactions change, your experiences will change. And when your experiences change, your quality of life changes. This is the second step in meditation. This is the basic difference between going in meditation according to yoga and according to the Vedanta or Bhagavad Gita. Yoga abhyas takes you only yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Now the question comes, after you have controlled your mind, what will you do? Then apply that sanyamit manaha, apply that totally controlled mind on your kantakupa, on your throat. And when you practice that for a long period of time, you discover a siddhi. I can go without food and water. You focus that controlled mind on the tip of your nose. You develop another siddhi. You do the sankalpa. Any smell you think of, that smell will happen. That controlled mind. You do the sanyama on the tip of your tongue. You can have any taste by your sankalp without eating. Either get lost by having controlled the mind, or apply that controlled mind for further exploration. Now, what is the further exploration? The further exploration is, what is this world if I am Brahman? What is this world? Is that world not Brahman? Is this world not God? And this is the second aspect of the controlled mind's investigation about what is the Jiva, what is the Jagat, what is the Ishvara. And therefore, these three verses, 29th, 38th and 31st, these three verses are the Tattvamasi Mahavakya Upadesh. Unless there is an instruction of Tattvamasi Mahavakya Upadesh, there cannot be the final emancipation from this world of relativity. And this is what the teacher says. First, Sarvabhutastham Atmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshana. Yoga Yuktatma, he who has thus practiced this yoga abhyasa and have complete perfect control over the mind and focus the source of the mind and started having the glimpses of the divine bliss with such a purified mind, when he looks around, what is his perception? His perception is Sarvabhutastham Atmanam Pashyati. He is able to see himself reflected in everything and being. What does it mean? All others become mirror or what? No. Like the father sees himself reflected in the son. And then what the father does? All those desires which were not fulfilled as a child, the father tries to live his childhood through his own son, is it not? Because he is seeing himself reflected in the child. The same thing here. Sarva bhutastham atmanam. In every being, I alone am. Ikshate, he is able to recognize this, his presence as the presence in everyone. And sarva bhutastham atmanam, second thing, sarva bhutani cha atmani. And all are in me. So both ways now. When he is functional in the duality, that time his experience is the whole world is nothing but my own manifestation, as the Father sees his manifestation in his own Son. And when you are not in the field of duality, you are quiet and sitting all by yourself, then the whole world is in me. Like all the waves are in the ocean, and therefore, because of the waves, the ocean doesn't get disturbed. These two things happen. So, sarva bhutastham sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma. The result is sarvatra samadarshanaha. There is no vishamata. There is no differentiation born out of the differences that are perceived. See, perception of the differences is not a problem. Practice of differentiation as a result of the differences, this is where the samsara is created. See? We see the differences. Ladies, gents, educated, uneducated. And stop there, there is no problem. But we see the differences, ladies and gents, and then start an association, women's lib. All the gents are the enemies. And they are torturing for the dowry and all that. So let us make an organization and fight it out. And who is the president of that organization? A man. Because he is supporting the cause, he has got the money. Not only in the material world, I tell you, I am not just joking, always I don't joke. Once in a while I will tell the truth also. You know, in one place, this happened in US, all the ladies came together. Very difficult, but they came together. And could you believe what organization they have formed? They have formed an organization, Ladies Vedanta Society. And they invited me to inaugurate. Now you tell me, can there be better jokes in this world than this? And we say the world is miserable. No, it is full of cartoons. You don't have to watch into the TV. So I went there. And then I asked him, hey, please tell me, you have called me, you made this organization, very good, very good. But please tell me, what Vedanta teaches us? Is the Vedanta addressing a man or a woman? See, Vedanta is not talking to the physical structure of this wretched body. We are addressed, and that we is neither a man nor a woman. But we are so obsessed with our body identification that even in the Vedanta study, there is a ladies group and there is a gents group. And then competition, kawali. That is why if you are standing on the foundation of these non-dual reality, all the differences will never touch you. And that is what is the real vision. Therefore, this is the first step. The change in the vision will take place. Sarva bhutastham sarva bhutani jatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. And the most important word is sarvatra samadarshanaha. That doesn't mean the vyavahar, the transaction should be same. No. See the same reality in everyone, and yet whatever are the differences required for the transaction of the business, that may be conducted. Yet the oneness may not be compromised. And this mantra is almost lifted bodily from the Ishavasya Upanishad. Bhagavan Krishna was trained right from childhood in stealing the things. And he could not give up his habit. So when he spoke Bhagavad Gita, he has plucked the verses from Kathopanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, various things, and that case, this is what I am telling. See? And how he could do that? Because he knew. He who gave the mantras of the Upanishad and he who is talking to Arjuna is one and the same reality. That is what is called as Yogeshwara Krishna. Therefore, friends, only control over matter is not all spirituality. Changing our vision. And once the vision is changed, your perceptions will change, and this is what is meant in life. Otherwise, under the disguise of spirituality, we end up into the business of spirituality. See, one person, I was in Kuwait. He asked me, Swamiji, we are very busy here in our business. Is there any possibility of business as well as spirituality? I said, yes. What is that? Do the business of spirituality. Isn't it? Entry ticket. If you want to know about Brahman, pay 10 rupees. Front seat, 20 rupees. Because you are coming nearer to Brahman. Isn't it? Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.